On the 126th anniversary of the Declaration of Philippine Independence, President Bongbong Marcos says Filipinos should protect the freedom they enjoy today and never be cowed by threats and oppression. In his message to Filipinos, President Marcos pays tribute to the country's forefathers who fought for Philippine independence and peace.
Bilang tagapagmana ng kalayaan na tinatamasa natin ngayon, tungkulin ng bawat isa sa atin na pangalagaan ito at tiyaking hindi na tayo kailanman magpapatinag sa anumang banta ng pananakot, pananakop at pag-aapi.
Marcos calls on Filipinos to strengthen not only their courage but also their unity and cooperation, adding that each Filipino can be a hero in the modern age.
Gamitin natin ang ating dunong at sipag sa bawat gawain at ang pinakamahalaga, maging mapakumbaba, mapagmahal sa bayan at marangal tayo sa lahat ng oras.
Marcos's Independence Day message comes amid heightened tensions between the Philippines and China. China has been encroaching on Philippine waters after claiming the majority of the South China Sea, including parts of the West Philippine Sea, through its so-called 10-dash line. On Tuesday, Marcos told the Philippine Army to prepare for external threats due to escalating heightened geopolitical tensions in the Indo-Pacific. The Armed Forces of the Philippines says the supposed Chinese military uniforms found during the June 4 raid of an illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators complex in Pampanga province were probably used as props in the illicit online transactions at the POGO hub in Porac town. On Monday, the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission said authorities found alleged Chinese military uniforms associated with the Chinese People's Liberation Army and the Chinese People's Armed Police Force during the raid of the 5.8-hectare POGO complex of Lucky South 99. However, PAOK said this would still be subject to validation by Chinese authorities. In a statement, AFP spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla says the limited number of People's Liberation Army uniforms found suggests a more indicative use in deceptive activities rather than any preparation for an invasion and should not yet be a cause of unnecessary panic. Padilla adds that the AFP is already coordinating with the PAOK to probe the incident. Padilla acknowledges that the presence of POGO hubs near military camps is part of their contemporary challenges and that the AFP will have contingency measures prepared. Meanwhile, Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad, says POGOs are not yet considered a threat to national security. Trinidad's statement came after Senator Rizo Hontiveros called on the National Security Council to recommend to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to consider POGOs as a national threat. According to Trinidad, what is happening is an increase in the monitored unusual incidents perpetuated by the presence of Chinese nationals. However, this does not mean that the incidents are risks to national security. Trinidad adds that appropriate sanctions will be imposed the moment POGOs or any establishment violate the rules and regulations of the land. Vice President Sara Duterte supports calls for just and humane law enforcement in relation to what she calls a questionable display of force and authority during the serving of arrest warrants against fugitive televangelist Apollo Quiboloy and 5 others. Duterte is referring to the Philippine National Police's simultaneous serving of arrest warrants against Quiboloy and his subordinates, Crescente Canada, Pauline Canada, Ingrid Canada, Sylvia Camanes, and Jackie Leroy in his several properties in Davao City on Monday. In a statement, Duterte says she is one with those calling for the proper, acceptable, and humane enforcement of the law and the promotion of justice in our country. Duterte also notes that the safety of everyone, particularly civilians and the youth, must always be prioritized when enforcing the law. The Vice President also asks to maintain respect, order, and peace in the country. Police Regional Office 11 Public Information Office Chief Major Catherine De La Rey said that arrest warrants against Quiboloy and his co-accused were served around 4 a.m. on June 10 in his compound in Barangay Buhangin, Davao City. However, Quiboloy and the 5 others were not found in the area. The Vice President's father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, likewise released a statement on the serving of arrest warrant against Quiboloy and called it as excessive and unnecessary force. However, the PNP says that the serving of the arrest warrants against fugitive Quiboloy and 5 others was a lawful operation and carried out in strict compliance with legal security protocols. K-pop megastar Jin from BTS was discharged from his South Korean military service on Wednesday, June 12, being the first member of the group to complete the mandatory duty, freeing him up to fully resume musical activities. Jin emerged from the gates of his army base in South Korea's northern Yeoncheon County, where he was met by fellow BTS members J-Hope, V, RM, Jungkook, and Jimin. RM played the saxophone, belting out the hook of BTS's mega hit Dynamite, while the other members hugged and presented Jin with a giant bouquet of flowers. BTS's agency HYBE announced Jin's discharge on Weverse, a superfan social media platform, earlier this week. The agency also strongly advised fans to refrain from the visiting site, citing safety concerns, and added that there would be no special events planned. The 7 members of BTS have been performing their service, which South Korea requires of all men under 30 due to tensions with the nuclear-armed North Korea.